Welcome back to another episode of Gregtech Community Edition Modern. Last time we got ourselves... Where did we go? We did something over here. Active Transformers, that's what it was. Because that is, that explains yesterday. I don't know if anybody ended up reading the post. I know we got a couple that read it. The active transformers are wonderful. However, because I had set this up properly, everything started draining power at a much more rapid rate. And then I left the computer running so that I could get more of my iridium? I think it's the iridium is what it's called from this one. From our metal mixture. I ran out of power. I ran out of power in the meantime. That was definitely not something I planned on. So we got this back up and running. We got our liquid oxygen input going. I hope we only have the amount of liquid oxygen we're supposed to. It looks like that is the case. I think I added it to disallow on those other things. But yeah, we didn't run out of liquid oxygen, but these things could not keep up with the power draw because I accidentally left the Nadacaria refinery on when I left. And this thing, plus everything else it was running, consumes an unbelievable amount of power. But now I've got not just one, but two. Our tungsteel carbide. I need a repeater or something. Can I make a repeater really quick? Repeater? Repeat? Oh, we gotta make some torches. Hold on. 1, 2. A repeater. We should be able to break it right there. Do something like that. What about like that? There we go. That should shut off now. And it is. Okay. That's a little bad. We were wasting a ton of energy. I don't know how much energy I was wasting, but hopefully not too much. But yeah, that was essentially the summation of the issue. I came back, was like, why are half of my machines off? Nothing's doing anything anymore. And then I looked down there and went, oh, no, that's not good. Now, the thing that I was also trying to work towards was the research station and HPCA. I managed to get those, but the rest of the blocks I'm still kind of gated by. And one of the other things I wanted to show off, and this is something I found absolutely absurd, is if you go to craft one of these what is it called again? Hold on, what? I guess it doesn't like that. HPCA. So if you go to craft one of these, the array itself, you need a ton of these copper foils, which ends up being 886 ingots. I'm not going to go through much more of that, so we're going to actually go ahead and upgrade our arc furnace here, finally. I know I said I was going to do it previously, but this is just not going to cut it when you have 800 crafts to go through. So, we're going to go down below and right back onto our area back here. Looks like we have plenty of room to tack off of this power supply here. I think that's right where we'll build it. We'll go ahead and insert our power spot. Wire it on up so it's accepting power. And then get our way onto building, as it's just a simple, easy setup here. As it's a plus sign in a 5x5x5 area. Or 5x5x4 area. Because now we can go ahead and place down our controller block, the arc smelter. We can place down our parallel control hatch and our maintenance hatch. So those are all front and center like I normally like them. We do actually have these special coils we had to make specifically for this recipe, as it cannot... I don't think these can be used for anything other than a large brewing vat, which I don't know if I'm going to end up using large breweries, fermenters, or fluid heaters. Maybe I will in the future, but I haven't used much of anything but the brewery, and it just doesn't seem like I should put a parallelized version of that up. So it's not going to right now. Now, the places that these need to be placed are specific to that right there. And then we just go ahead and fill in our blocks. So let's go ahead and bring back all of those. Well, that's going to be a problem there. We're going to have to maneuver that up a block or back up one of the two. You know what? Let's move the easier thing. We're going to slide this out of the way right there and there. We will go up. Actually, probably better to do it this way. 1, 2. And then... I guess we're going to have to go back down. So it's going to be there and there. And I don't have any soap to clean off any cables. Let's see if I have any cables left over. Oh, I have plenty left over. We're good. And there we go. That'll go around the edge there, which is actually perfect. We can put our input hatch down. Oh, we need another block. I'm missing things already. Put our hatch down right there. We'll import our oxygen directly in there using an export bus. I forget that we're importing into this, exporting from the system, and that's the way that it works. So we just need our oxygen to be imported directly in there. And we will see that kicking on. And I guess we could actually, and this might be the better bet. I always like doing the interfaces over anything else. So let's do the interface and tell it to stock oxygen, as that's always a faster option. Finish up the sides here. And get ourselves up to the top. This is going to be fun, because I don't know if this is going to... It'll work. We're good. But this block does require a muffler. So we're going to go ahead and put that there and find a way to sneak back down below. There we go. And 1, 2, 3 across the top. Here we go. 3. Now I do want all of our inputs. We don't want the output hatch very well needed, as it actually doesn't output any fluids. So fluids are not an issue here. So we'll put that over here. Finish up with those blocks there, those blocks there, and then we can put our output and input buses pretty close together here. So now comes the truth of we need one of these and one of these. And then we just need ourselves another interface, which I guess I don't have any of those crafted, so let's go ahead and get one of those really quick. And I guess we do need our crafter part too. So let's go ahead and head back to grab that as well. It also has all of the wonderful recipes we're going to want to put in here. So we can go ahead, pop that off, pop the recipe pattern provider. Recipe provider, either way. Mean the same thing, but... Alright, so we got our output bus there, our input bus here. So this is where we're going to want to stock our pattern provider. And then we can put our interface right there. So now, just as a test run, let's go ahead and do ourselves a favor and get some, the good old wrought iron. Let's say I want 64 of it. How fast Can we get that stuff? Okay, so I think the problem is, let's look at this really quick on our recipes. So in our arc furnace, yeah, so that's exactly what I thought might be the problem with this, but we can go ahead and fix that. Let's look at our input hatch and get ourselves, maybe not an LUV, an IV should do. Because we actually can only store enough to do a handful of those recipes of the iron one. So that means we're probably going to have just as much of an issue with copper or anything else. That even though I have a by 16? Or is it 12? 16 parallel hatch. It can only manage so much before the system itself is just overwhelmed by what we're trying to run it at. Unless it's the energy hatch, and maybe that's the problem. And if that's the case, that's good to know. But we can watch that here as we switch out that. Do a little bit of testing on the fly here. And right there. So that should fill up a little bit. Might want to change this to like... That works. Oh, that's not how I wanted it to work. Boom. 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 Let's do that. Okay, we are all filled up. And let's test that again with some wrought iron. 10, 64. Okay, so it's still only doing the 4 to 6 recipes. I wonder if that's a limitation of how fast our interface can interact, or the pattern provider can interact with it. Which, if that's the case, then let's go ahead and swap out our, what's it called, parallel hatch. And see if we still get the same results. This is why it's good to test some stuff out. Because, I mean, if we can't pump items through fast enough, then, like, I don't see the point in running it any faster. And it looks like that's exactly going to be our problem, is it just doesn't pump in items fast enough. So we don't actually have to have the by 12, by 16 parallel hatch on there, as, like, it's just pointless. It doesn't do anything for us. It's not fast enough. That's just wild, in my opinion. The ME system is not fast enough to pump out through an interface, of all things, basically. As the only other thing I could think of doing is putting more coprocessors on to my smaller crafting cores. That actually might happen pretty soon, because I'm thinking I might do an area up, either this or this area over here, as like where the crafting cores are going to get moved to, so that I can actually have like more crafting capacity, I guess, and make it more worthwhile with more of the coprocessors. So that's the only thing I can think of, is that it's just not giving enough items over because the coprocessors aren't enough. But I'm not exactly an expert on flight energistics, so I really don't know. As for that being finished, this is kind of the crazy thing of why I wanted to do that, because we already have our miners. Like, realistically, the only stuff I have to do for a lot of these things is, like, go back and actually finish the quest part. Like, I could go do, like, these fissures or the block breakers or something to catch them all. Maybe we actually make one of these. and see about setting up something that I've been meaning to set up for a while. Let's do that. Item collector. Do we have... Okay, so there's just 4 versions. So 64 by... that's probably my best. Actually, it doesn't really matter. We could just do a basic one. Let's just do a basic one. It's gonna be the easiest. Just gotta start up the crafting queue for all of that. How many blocks does that cover? That covers an 8 by 8 area. So we go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We do right to here. That's probably our best bet. Go ahead and break this off, and we'll just put up a simple little thing here. We need that. We need ourselves a generator, which I might actually have a spare gas turbine. Sweet. All right, this is where the fun kind of comes in. We're going to go ahead and bring it out probably right there. Give it a 2-block space to pick up at. That's not going to work. Actually, we can always reorganize this. So there. And wrench this that way. You know what? We can definitely reorganize this even better by grabbing ourselves some blocks here too. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. Boom and boom. We'll break those. Like we can place one more on this side. 1, 7. Looks like if we set this up just right, I don't know if we can actually make observers. How much? Oh, we don't have any nether quartz. Let's see if we can make a recipe for the nether quartz. Boom. We have like a autoclave. Yes, we do. Boom. Now comes the question of, can we even do that recipe right now? So if I wanted to make... Oh. That's got to go into our crafting thing over here, doesn't it? I wanted to make 16 of them real quick. We can do it. Sweet. And now we just need a piston recipe. Just a regular old piston recipe. Wait, what? I can do different ones? We'll do that one. Oh, out of wood. Go chop a tree. Boom. Boom. And that's a rubber wood. Eh. It don't matter. Got plenty of this stuff. Now that we are this far along, stuff like that is just a trivial matter to us. There is all of the pistons. And now comes the fun of, I gotta figure out how to wire this up. I actually haven't made a sugarcane farm in probably like 2 or 3 years. So, actually, I guess it doesn't matter. Not actually that difficult anymore. Ever since the observer thing is a thing. Like, I think it's just so much easier now or something. They already finished? No, we're at 11. But I believe if we just place it... Oh, we don't want to shift. Shifting does that. Right? No? No. You want to look the way it's supposed to go. 2, 3, 4. And we're waiting on... Wait, that's 7. Huh. So now comes... Ooh, I actually have one of these prepared. That's kind of funny. I think I confiscated it from somewhere. And... Oh, remember to face the right way. Oh. That's right. Can we change that? Oh, you can't. Okay. That's right. Okay. Okay, okay, okay. So it cannot transfer it down. That's what I thought. Okay. Let's investigate this. I think this will work. Now we just need redstone. I think this works. Like I said, I've never done this one before, so we're just going to test it out and see. Let's do our full line of... There's no, like, open hand trick, is there? No. Okay. Yep, that works. Sweet. Now we just gotta put ourselves some nitrobenzene into here. Is our nitrobenzene right there. Okay, and so that should help items get picked up over here. And then we'll see those get picked up. Sweet. Okay, so now we're going to... We can filter that? Do I have a filter already? No, let's make one. Filter. Boom. 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 Okay, and now we just gotta get ourselves, I guess we can even kind of cheese the system a little bit here. Under item link, let's get ourselves that item filter on. Where did it go? Right there? Right there. Whitelist. Only the sugarcane, so that's all that we pick up. That is not what I wanted there. Where did it go? There's... Okay. We want a whitelist, only sugarcane. Okay. And now we should watch it. And I guess check the other side. Yeah, the other side works too. Okay. It looks like... Does it not get to pick those up? Can't be full, right? Interesting. Okay, so we do have some Ender item links. We're going to go ahead and do those really quick. And we'll say, we're going to say... 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, no. Boy, do I gotta stop doing that. Pressing buttons that don't do anything. But this has definitely been a blast from the past, making one of these. As I don't think I've actually made... So it's technically not a blast from the past, as I have not made one of these ones before. The one that I had to previously make was on the old version that did not have the observers. So you either had to use, actually no, comparators weren't a thing either. I think the only one I ever made is with a regular redstone clock. But now that sorts out a sugar issue, as we've been needing manually harvest sugar to get our gel tooling for whatever industrial explosive things we've had to do. So that's fixed. Hopefully next time we can get ourselves the research station and the high power computation. I think that's how you computation array. High power computation array. That's what it is. That is what it is. Let me see. High power computation array. Where'd it go? High performance. High performance. Yeah, it also took a lot of circuits. And I mean a lot of circuits to make that thing. That was insane to see. Anyhow, please do like, subscribe, and comment on the video, as I do read all of those comments and I appreciate each one of them. You guys have a great day. Bye!